All right, we had Senior Bowl wrap up, and obviously we're going to have our NFL draft talk, but it's time to start diving into free agency, y'all. Free agency will be taking place before the NFL draft, and that'll be a great indicator on what this team is looking to do. And obviously the New York Giants need a quarterback. So let's say they're opting to go the free agent quarterback route and trying to see if we can get a bridge quarterback. We got to explore our options, and I'm going to be giving you guys the top 3 options that are going to be on the board. First and foremost, let's start talking about Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold is the only starting quarterback piece that I feel like if the Giants want to go this route, it's going to be a multi-year deal. And personally, I don't want to see it. Sam Darnold is a player that just did set the league on fire, having his best year of his career in Minnesota, and obviously resurrected his career. He really did. Shout out to Kevin O'Connell out there in Minnesota, putting him in a position to succeed. They won a lot of games last year. Overall, when you look at what that team did, a lot of people didn't expect Sam Darnold to do much. And yet, he was probably in the MVP conversation for a while this past year. So let's dive into what Sam Darnold did last year, his stats. So Sam Darnold did throw for 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He had a quarterback rating of 102, and overall, top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback this past year, easily. When you look at the production he was able to put up in that offense, I mean, granted, it's a very quarterback-friendly system as we've been seeing the past couple of years, but Sam Darnold has not done this at a consistent rate, and him out there with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, a couple weapons around him, he definitely made the most out of it, and they had a top 5 offense, top 10 offense at one point. I mean, the Vikings were definitely on a roll. They won 14 games last season, and they only lost to the Rams and the Lions. Those are the only 2 teams that they lost to last year. So overall, I mean, when the Giants lost to the Vikings, I was telling myself, man, there's no way the Giants lose to Sam Darnold, and the rest of the league did. So I wasn't too mad about it, and obviously we know the Giants didn't end up winning. But why is Sam Darnold the candidate to come to the Giants? Well, one, we have a decent amount of cap space, right? The Giants do find themselves middle of the pack, around $50-ish million in cap space, and they possibly could make some more moves if you continue to restructure some contracts. You got contracts like Dexter Lawrence that you probably still touch. Overall, if the Giants do want to manipulate the cap a bit and bring in a quarterback, Sam Darnold is going to be coming in at a hefty price. Now, I went ahead and looked up what ESPN has him projected to get. He'll be around $40 million a year. They have him projected to get a 3-year deal. And for me, if I'm the GM, I'm not bringing Sam Darnold in here, honestly. One, with the Giants expecting to win, that could be the pressure to bring Sam Darnold. But when you look at it, we don't have a Kevin O'Connell offense. We don't have the pieces that offense has. We have a Malik Neighbors, which we know Malik Neighbors is a dog and a wide receiver 1. When you think about the offense we ran last year, I mean, putting another quarterback in this system, he got to be someone that's going to continue to make this team better. And I don't think Sam Darnold is a guy that's going to make that team better. I'm just being honest. The Vikings do what they do with Sam Darnold. Will they be bringing him back? I don't expect them to do so, but especially for the New York Giants, man, I'm not willing to bring him to the Big Apple, especially for a big price tag. And respectfully, you know, for the betterment of Sam Darnold, I mean, he shouldn't go on a 1-year prove-it deal. That's what I would want from the New York Giants. I wouldn't want a long-term commitment for Sam Darnold. I definitely don't want to see him here for too long. And respectfully, Sam Darnold should probably be seeing that security. So Sam Darnold, go get your bag somewhere else. In my opinion, I don't think the New York Giants should explore this. But if you're a fan of Sam Darnold, man, let me know down in the comments if you want him on this team. It's just my opinion. I think we see what the ceiling is for him, and I don't think he can do that over here in the New York Giants. These next 2 candidates happen to be on the same team last year, and I'm a fan of bringing both of them on this team. When you look at Russell Wilson, we'll be talking about him first. Russell Wilson last year did play on the Steelers. He played 12 games for them last year and missed a couple games in the early on of the season. But Russell Wilson had a good stretch at one point. Towards the end of the Steelers season, you saw them, kind of falling off a cliff. That offense was not putting up points, and that led to them getting eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, and yet another playoff loss for the Steelers. Russell Wilson last year was an unrestricted free agent before heading over to the Steelers, and on a 1-year, $2.5 million prove-it deal. I safe to say, I think he kind of did some good things over there for Pittsburgh. And in my opinion, I didn't think he did anything crazy to warrant him getting paid big bucks. But overall, when you look at what Russell Wilson can probably, add to your team, he has a Super Bowl ring. He has some experience. I mean, I would definitely bring Russell Wilson in here on a bridge quarterback deal. I really would. We drafted a quarterback this season. It doesn't really stop the plans with that. And Russell Wilson can still give you a chance to win games this season. I don't really know if the Giants will be winning too many games, but we do know that John Mara wants this team to start winning games now. So Russell Wilson gives you that feature. Let's look at what he did last year. Last year, he did throw for 2,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Last year, when the Steelers were hot, I mean, they were balling with Russell Wilson, especially when you saw the difference between him and Justin Fields. He came onto the scene, and overall, the Steelers were winning games, but it seemed like that magic was running out. And towards the latter half of the season, easily the worst part of his season, he didn't really put the ball in harm's way, but the offense just wasn't moving the ball downfield. They weren't scoring points. They were definitely, losing their magic. And Russell Wilson at one point was cooking up. And towards the end of the season, you kind of saw, I guess, a little bit of what you don't want to see out of Russell Wilson, which is kind of the timidness. You didn't really see too many shots downfield. And overall, I think Russell Wilson, that's kind of what you see out of him. I don't think you can expect too much out of Russell Wilson. You're not going to see the old Russell Wilson, which he's not as mobile as he once was. Definitely not as quick as he once was, but he still has, in my opinion, he has the IQ of being a quarterback in this league. He's been around for a bit, and I still think he could provide value to this team. And once again, you got to think about the New York Giants drafting a quarterback. He provides value in kind of grooming that quarterback up, seeing what they can get out of their next guy as well. And maybe you'll see Russell Wilson start half of the games this upcoming season. Once again, I don't expect him to get too much of a bag that I would consider not bringing him in. And that's kind of the value I'm looking for the Giants if they were to explore the free agency pool. I mean, when you look at other quarterbacks that are on the list, Sam Darnold is going to be the biggest, name that's going to get the most money. But Russell Wilson is right up there in terms of talent with the free agency pool that we're going to see for the quarterback position. Let's look at what ESPN is projecting him to get. 2 years, $50 million for Russell Wilson is the projection right now, with only $35 million guaranteed. I'm willing to go to that extent. When we look at Sam Darnold, I don't know if I pushed on it, but $40 million a year for Sam Darnold. Yeah, that $40 million a year, I'm kind of scarred when it came to our last quarterback. So I don't want to see that from Sam Darnold overall. But Russell Wilson, $25 million a year. I think we can go there. And obviously this team has a lot more holes to go. So people are not going to like to hear the $25 million. Listen, I'm no cap guru. I know a lot of teams make it work. Find a way to make it work. Get Russell Wilson in here and let him, build up our next quarterback. I'm perfectly fine with that. Talking about our last pick, which this one probably has a higher, I know it's been late and he's been in the league for a little while. Justin Fields, in my opinion, still has an untapped potential. He really does. And I'm not expecting him to come in here and be a franchise quarterback. That is not what I'm saying. I just want to see him get consistent reps in a new offense. He's been learning a new offense almost every other year of his career. And especially with the Steelers last year, they were on a roll and they still benched him for Russell Wilson. Now, not saying it was the wrong move because they did win games, but Justin Fields, I just feel like has some traits that you like to see out of your quarterback. His deep ball is still one of the better deep balls in the league, in my opinion. You just don't see him take those shots too often. And sometimes you see the inaccuracy at times, but Justin Fields is a candidate to bring in here, and purely, he's not going to cost you too much. He's going to be on a prove-it deal because he didn't prove too much out there with Pittsburgh. In my opinion, I think Pittsburgh's going to try to bring him back and try to make him the guy next season, because I think give him a chance to have that another year under his belt in that offense. Give him a full extent of a season. I mean, shoot, I think they were like 5-1, 4-1 at one point when he was a quarterback. So why not try to give him an extended period of time to continue to get that under wraps? Now, he's not perfect, right? He still has some inconsistency in his game, especially when it comes to passing the ball. We know the upside with him running the ball, and that's what you need now in these days. A mobile quarterback that's able to make some plays with his legs. Justin Fields still does that. I'm not going to go over his stats last year because once again, it was a very, very short stint, but he needs to put the ball in the end zone. That's just what I think, in my opinion. He needs to be able to throw more, obviously accurately, and it sounds easy to say, but he threw 5 touchdowns last year in, I think, 5 games, which 1 touchdown a game is not a recipe for success in this league. So Justin Fields needs to find a way to continue to get, a lot more consistency with his arm, but once again, he's been in the league for a little while now, so that whole mentality with him being a young quarterback is starting to get old, and I'm willing to take a flyer on Justin Fields. Still does not stop you from drafting a quarterback, but you can still bring him in, and I feel like, once again, he definitely has more juice than a Russell Wilson. He definitely has probably more potential than a Russell Wilson in terms of where he can be as a quarterback. But it's been so long, and we talked about Justin Fields a couple years ago, possibly bringing him in, and here we are still talking about him. But I'm willing to take a flyer on him. He shouldn't cost too much, and it should be a prove-it deal. And once again, man, I think when the New York Giants stand right now, there's no reason why not to have, competition in the quarterback room. You can still draft your guy and have him for the future, and still have a quarterback on this team that could start for the team this year, see what he does as the season continues to progress. And at one point in time, man, still hand the keys over to your next quarterback. I think Justin Fields will be fine doing a prove-it deal. And hey, you saw what Sam Darnold did last year. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that are going to think, hey, why can't I do that wherever I go? Can they do that on the New York Giants? That's what will remain to be seen, man. But that is the top 3 quarterbacks that are going to be in free agency that I think the Giants should target. I want you guys to let me know down below. Who do you want the Giants to sign? Who do you think they will sign? And once again, is there any other free agent quarterback signing that you think is on the board? A Jameis Winston, a Joe Flacco? I want you guys to let me know down in the comments. I appreciate all the love and support, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.